Greetings, fellow Demon Slayers. This is Taimanin Mari here today with another Action Taimanin video. So, for today's topic, I've been seeing a lot of new players hopping into the game lately, which is understandable because we have two new characters, and I'm sure Angrid appearing has lured more players in that are fans of the Taimanin franchise. So, with all that being said, I am gonna just do a new player video today and just kind of give general tips to help someone get started in the game. And it's just to tell them what to prioritize so they can kind of hit the ground running with the game's farm. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to come on over to the facilities. This is by far the most important place to you as a new player. The reason being is you want to pay attention to this specific facility, your crafting facility. Your goal is to get this to at least level 4 before your first Taimanin hits level 70, so that you will be able to limit break her to level 5. The reason being is, if we come over to craft level 4, you will be able to make what's called an esoteric shard and lunar ore. Those items, it will require 4 of each to limit break a Taimanin to 75 if I'm remembering correctly. So for anyone who's a brand new player, definitely start putting the materials to level up this facility. So that way, when you hit 70, you won't be level locked on your first Taimanin. It's just a tip I like to get out of the way for any new player guide because leveling in this game is very important. The sooner you get your character to level 75, the sooner you can start working on ways to awaken them, which will come much later. Going back, that doesn't mean the other facilities are not important. They are all very useful. For example, this facility here would give you skill points, and this facility here would give you experience points. So all are really good. The little sword facility right here that I'm moused over will actually give you weapon experience. So this is also a great way to level any weapons you get without having to put ore into them. But I do think out of all of these, you would definitely want to prioritize the crafting facility at least up to level 4 when you first start, just so you can get going on making sure you'll be able to cap out your characters. So leaving the facility screen. This wasn't included in the last new player video because it didn't exist yet. But the dispatch is a very useful little system. It's not the greatest thing for people who have been playing very long term because the items are kind of useless, but to a new player these items are really good, and these items can also be upgraded in the crafting facility to become the next level material. For example, this silver chip here can actually become the upgraded version. If you farm enough of them or just have them lying around from dispatch, you can use them to upgrade them up. Another useful item for new players, which we have right here, would be this espresso. There's also a tea that gives 20 AP, and there's a lemonade that gives 5 AP. So these are useful to new players because they won't have a huge abundance of AP pots starting out because they'll simply be new. So just keeping up with dispatch will help them to, get their hands on AP items and various materials. Of course, there will be UR requirements here and there, so dispatch will become more useful as you get more waifus in your repertoire, but starting out, just make sure you at least check it, see if there's anything that you can do, and try to focus on, like, the important things. Like, for example, if there are gyms here, I would focus the gyms. If it's a bunch of materials and, like, AP drinks, I would focus the AP drinks. And so on and so forth, just to help you get some materials on your account or get more playtime out of your account. So, leaving the dispatch screen. The next thing I want to talk about is just this little interface at the top. It's only a few buttons. So, whenever you get a gift in-game, if it didn't pop up in your inventory, make sure you check your mailbox. That's where most things go when you get them. So any outfit vouchers or really anything to that effect, like any gym awards or anything like that, or any arena rewards are going to go to this mailbox. So be sure that you keep an eye on it so you don't miss anything, because things do expire if they sit in here too long. The next thing I want to talk about is the friends list. It's very important that when you start this game, you start adding people to get your friends list up to 50. What that will do is it will allow you to earn the most possible friend points from your greet all button. This button does reset every 12 hours, and every 12 hours when you hit greet all, you will receive 150 friend points if you have 50 friends. If you have less than 50, that number will obviously scale down depending on how many friends you have. The reason friend points are very important is because if we come to the store, we have what's called a friend point exchange. You will want to be using your friend points predominantly for these friend boxes. Obviously, the times 10 one is the best bargain. The reason being is they will drop materials to craft outfits for your character when your crafting facility gets to level 5. That is one reason. The second reason is they do drop very valuable friendship tokens, which are little bitty character emblems which are used to awaken your characters later, as well as make outfits for them. So they'll look something like this. We'll just like click on Ranko's for example. So these would be used to awaken Ranko as well as make her skin. So it's very important that you keep on top of your friendship point income because it is a very helpful way to get those materials. It's a little slow and a bit grindy, but it's the most consistent way to do it since you can just slowly farm it over time. So leaving that screen, we're going to come over to the trophies. The game will notify you, but some people may not see it. So for anyone who hasn't noticed it, make sure that you're receiving all the trophy rewards you get. You do get a lot of gems from this and a lot of gold. So there's no reason to not accept them. They're nothing but helpful for your account. It will slow down later because a lot of these rewards are front loaded. So the more you do in the game, the more you'll realize that you're getting less and less achievements. But at the very start, there are a lot of gems and gold to be had here. So make sure you do not ignore your achievement screen. Moving on from that, we're going to talk about the Golden Pass. Now, this is probably the most free-to-play friendly thing in this game. Oh, I got tongue-tied. So, it's not always around, but when the Golden Pass is up, it will present you with various missions that you can do. So we'll just like take a quick look at them. I'm not going to go into all of them for simplicity's sake, but you will have a mission tab here. Completing these missions will get you points on the actual Golden Pass. So if we go back to the reward screen, we have the standard row, which is for free-to-play players, and we have the Golden Pass special row, which is for paid players. So, just glancing over the free-to-play row, the big deal is getting to 150 and 200 points. And if you can manage 210 and 220, the reason being is you will get an ultra rare weapon at 150, and you will get an ultra rare, it looks like a supporter choice at 200 points. And then from there, you will get gems for 210 and 220. Now, these tickets won't give you like a guaranteed like supporter per se, but what it will do, it will give you a random ultra rare supporter. So this is good because anything ultra rare is a good find. Same thing goes for weapons. So you want to take advantage of this since it's just free things trickling into your inventory, especially if you decided to pay for it. You want to definitely finish the pass because overall everything in here is pretty much useful. Like the pills here are useful, the materials are useful. All of these mats have a use somewhere. So while they are not always up, if you are a new player and you're playing right now, or if you're watching this video months from now and there's a Golden Pass up, make sure you come, you check your mission tab, and you get to work on it because the rewards are more than worth it. And finally, we look at the weekly missions. These refresh every Sunday morning. I believe it's Sunday morning. Yeah, it's Sunday morning. So, what these do for you is they pretty much just give you a consistent income of gems every week for completing these 7 tasks. So again, there's no reason to not do this. It's nothing but income for your account. Just make sure as you do these missions, you actually come in here and click to receive all, or actually manually click on the gems that are here, or you will not receive them. So just make sure you're doing that and you're claiming these rewards for each of these missions you do. These missions may seem difficult at first, but they're really like thoughtless and easy to do. The only one that I've seen like cause people some distress is the draw Gacha 10 times mission. There's a fun tip for that. So if we come over to the Gacha tab, a lot of people thought when the game first came out that they had to actually pay gems to enjoy that mission, but they don't. They can simply come here to the Gold Gacha and use their in-game currency to do the 10 pull. So yeah, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but it's much cheaper to spend 10,000 gold than it is to spend, say, 200 gems or 400 gems on Gacha. So hold your gems, and to get that achievement done or that weekly done, just come over here and use the gold Gacha. It'll be much more cost efficient on you. So leaving those screens, next we want to look at the arena. Now, this arena mode, if I'm remembering correctly, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but I've been past level 50 a really long time. But if I'm remembering right, I believe the arena tab unlocks at level 20. I believe so. Yeah, I think it's 20. So when you hit 20, you want to come in here and get to work on your prologue stages. What these stages are is it's pretty much going to be a data collection fest where per stage you clear, you're going to fill up a data collection bar. When that bar hits 100%, you're going to unlock what's called the battle arena. So make sure once you hit 20, you get in here and you get to work on this. You don't have to clear every difficulty, but you can spam the same missions. So like if you can only do say up to like normal 4, if normal 5 is just too hard for you, just keep repeating normal 4 or whatever you're comfortable farming until your data collection bar fills up. And if I remember correctly, the data collection bar is located like right here or somewhere on this screen. Like I said, everything has disappeared because I'm no longer new. But once you fill up that bar, you'll be able to come into this screen and actually work on your arena. So, a fun tip for the arena, for people who don't have 3 characters, you can still play the arena, you just have to stack your characters from right to left. So for example, I could get rid of Kirara and I can get rid of Emily here. As long as Renko is in slot 3, she can still go solo the arena. So you won't need 3 people to do this, you'll just need 1 in slot 3, so keep that in mind. And the importance of this mode is to farm what's called the arena coins, which would be this little currency at the top that there's 111,000 of. It looks kind of like a little sun symbol in a little circle. What you want to be using these for is you want to be farming up the PvP weapons. Now, to get these items, I believe you will have to have gotten top class once, which it isn't that hard to do. Top class is really simple. Even if you only have one level 70 to 75 character, they should be able to grind you to top class. The reason I say get to work on this as soon as possible is because these coins drop whether you win or lose. So, it doesn't matter. All you want to do is come in here and start throwing your BP to the arena mode to start stockpiling these coins, because these arena weapons are ultra rare weapons, and these weapons do have higher stats than most gacha weapons in most cases. These weapons have phenomenal stats. The only drawback to them is that their abilities are geared towards PvP. But if you are a free-to-play player, these are quintessentially your best in slot weapons, because they are free weapons that only take patience of farming the arena, and they're guaranteed S level 5 weapon because there's no RNG involved in getting them, just patience. Whereas if you're looking to get a weapon from Gacha, you may never pull the weapon you want 5 times just simply because there's a lot of things in the Gacha pool. So, always prioritize your arena, always make sure to use your battle points here if you're comfortable with your Magatama, because this is a great way to weapon grind for your character of choice. And for those who are wondering, the Viridian weapons are probably the best ones to take initially, because they're really good for fighting against crit builds in arena. And once you're done with the Viridian weapons, I think it's pretty much up in the air. Like, I see a lot of people go Amber, and I see a lot of people go Crimson, but I do know that everyone starts with gathering Viridian weapons. So, leaving this screen, while we're on the subject of battle points, the next thing I want to talk about is time attack. This will unlock, I believe, after Chapter 5 of Story, if I'm remembering right. So, time attack is good for one reason and one reason only. I mean, if you care about racing, it's good, but not every character is efficient at that, so I guess that'll depend on your main or your preference. But, fun tip, Ingrid is insanely fast at time attack because of her port. Now, the reason this mode is useful is because it does drop super rare Magatamas on hard difficulty. On normal difficulty, it will drop rare and super rare Magatama, and on easy difficulty, it will drop rare and normal Magatama. So I think the goal for everyone when they first start Action Taimanin And it's a little bit of a longer term goal, maybe like a week or two in. You want to be able to play normal, at least on time attack, so that way you're able to stockpile super rare Magatamas, because those will be making up your build later. The most important ones I think to focus would be, I believe they come from chapter 3. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So, you want to focus yellow and red Magatama because DPS is, after all, king. This is your typical gacha game where you want to stack damage. You can use green and blue for any character that would like tanking. So Emily likes to be a tank at endgame, and Kirara, the character that we have in front of us, she also likes to be a tank at endgame. And tanking could also be viable on a character like Asagi due to her CC. So in some cases, yes, green and blue Magatama, which would be HP and defense respectively, are good. But for the most part, you want to definitely start farming up a super rare set of red Magatama and a super rare set of yellow Magatama and working on upgrading them. This is a long-term goal for a new player. Don't expect to have these maxed out right away. But as you do more dailies and as you get more materials on your account, just be sure that they are something you're focusing on because you do want to have your Magatamas set. Once you get to a point where super rare Magatamas are kind of trivial and you don't really need them anymore, then you have no real reason to be doing time attack unless you're building a new Magatama set. In which case, all of your battle points would again go back to doing the arena. Because farming these coins is your most important thing to do, especially if you're free to play, because those S level 5 ultra rare PvP weapons are very good. Actually, you have one. Let's show you guys one as an example. So, this is an S level 5 PvP weapon. As you can see, it has 4,000 attack and 3,600 crit. If we compare this to an S level 5 Gacha weapon, it actually has more attack and crit than the Gacha weapon, as you can see. The only difference is the Gacha weapon has a passive and an active that's more geared towards PvE, and the PvP weapon has a passive that's more geared towards PvP. And this is why these weapons are important. So always consider them when you're playing this game. Even if you're whaling, there's no shame in buying a PvP weapon, getting it to S level 5 and using it, especially if you were unlucky with a character. So outside of BP, there isn't much more to discuss. As a new player, you definitely want to hit the ground running on your story mode. And the reason being is story mode pays out a metric butt ton of gems. There's so many gems you can get here. I know you won't be able to clear through normal or hard, maybe like day one, depending on if you're whaling or not. But hard mode is way more trivial than it's ever been because there has been a universal stat percentage increase in game with the passive abilities on all characters. So once you're able to do hard mode, there's no reason why you shouldn't come through story and just burn through chapter 1 through 14. This will net you 2100 gems since you'll be getting 150 gems per chapter for doing every little mission for each like difficulty. So for example, hard mode would be a mission like clear above 50%, achieve a 30 hit combo, and get hit less than 35 times. These may seem hard at first, but these missions are relatively easy to complete after you've been playing maybe like a month. Like it's really not hard content. So getting this done will get you a nice chunk of gems to use on either skins, characters, or the gacha. Getting on the subject of gems, we'll come over to, I guess, the store here. So we're going to come to the Taimanin tab. This is every character you can purchase right now. Kirara and Ingrid are still on a timer because they just came out, but come June 7th, they will both be able to be brought for 1,200 gems. Now, the reason I come to this screen is because there's going to be the question for most new players, who do I buy? If you're not caring about PvP, then really anyone you want to buy will do okay in most PvE content. The only characters I'm kind of iffy about would be maybe Sue and Obro, but I feel like everyone else here is in a good place. We are working on a tier list, so there'll be way more in-depth info in regards to this later. But for right now, I just wanted to like clear the air for anyone who's confused. Every character is kind of good right now, so there's no reason to not purchase them. The only time you want to get real specific is if you're going for something like clearing hard modes like Tower, then you may want someone like Murasaki or Yukikaze. because they're really efficient for clearing towers. If you're looking for someone for, say, PvE or PvP, you may want to look at someone like Emily or someone like Koronai, as they're really, really powerful in the PvP mode right now. But outside of those two stipulations, every other character does good everywhere. And, like, they won't do as good as Emily and or Koronai in PvP, for example, but they'll do okay. They'll do fine. They'll do good enough to get you to top class. And it's the same thing with PvE content. The characters will do great for the most part, and the only time you'll really see people start to struggle is Tower, which is understandable because that's absolute endgame content. So it will be hard for some characters and easier for others. So I just wanted to clear the air as far as that. Gems can be used for characters, and gems can also be used to buy costumes. Now, while we're on the subject of costumes, we'll just click on one we already have. Costumes do give stats, so keep that in mind. They're not like crazy, crazy high stats where it's going to like really, really matter. At the end of the day, it won't. Like, I've seen people with minuscule costumes do good in this game. Having costumes just gives you a bigger number of stats. That's all they really do, and it changes your cosmetic. The only time they'll really scale out of hand is if you have, like, say, every costume for a character. But realistically, like, with 2 or 3, you'll be fine. I've never heard free-to-play players complain that their costumes are, like, holding them back or in any difficulty, so you won't have to worry about those stats too much. They're just kind of a nice cherry on top. And last but not least, we'll look at the gacha, since we're on the subject of gem spending. The gacha is a good way to spend gems if you get lucky, but it is a gacha. So at the end of the day, always remember that you can get shafted, and if you have bad luck in the gacha, then there's nothing anyone can do to help you. So, I like to be really very sparing with my gems. Personally, I won't really bother pulling on a gacha unless it's something I really want. So if I were sticking to being free to play, because I have paid for the game, I'm not going to sugarcoat things. But if I were sticking to being free to play, I would only pull on like things that are absolutely what I'm after. So like Kirara's my waifu, so I had a bunch of free to play gems saved, and they pretty much all went into her. And then I went on to wail for her because she's like my character. But like you won't see me like wailing out of control for this Shiranui. That's just me. I know some people are whales and like to have everything, but I look at that as just an unrealistic goal financially. It's really a lot of money if you want to go for everything. But if you just want to leisurely like farm the game, you will definitely come into some ultra rares. Like the game's not going to totally shaft you. You just have to remember, pull gacha with some sort of caution, because those same gems can be used to guarantee yourself an outfit with no RNG, or they can be used to guarantee yourself a new character. And since you can get ultra rare weapons from the arena mode, you won't really need to gacha for ultra rare weapons, unless you're just really looking to spoil your girl or, simp for her. But outside of the weapons, the only other thing you'd need is the supports. Gacha is valuable for supports, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But upon unlocking the event tab, we literally always have an event running where you can get yourself a free-to-play ultra-rare waifu. So right now we currently have Sakuya up. These aren't better than gacha supporters in most cases, but they are free ultra rares. So they're great for dispatch, they're great for gearing up your account if you're a new player. And this is where I suggest using most of your AP potions if you're brand new. This is a good place to dump those items, keep your AP high, and farm these events. Because you will have to get through 9 boxes to finish the supporter, since they drop in every odd numbered box. So let me just click on her so we can look at her. There we go. Okay, so yeah, every event will have something akin to this. It won't be this supporter every time. It would obviously be something different. So really think twice before you gacha. That's the final takeaway I want to have in this video. Simply because you will get ultra rare supports every time there's a new event, and there's always a new event coming. When this event ends, we'll get our next event. So always consider that supporters will come from here. Always consider that you will get weapons from the arena as long as you unlocked it and are diligent working on it. And remember, win or lose, the arena will still give you arena coins. So, just, again, be careful with your gems. I don't want to see people get shafted. If you do decide to pull Gacha, good luck. It is a very good way to power up your account when you're newer to the game. After you've been in the game a while and you have most of the stuff, Gacha kind of becomes a diminishing return because you're going to start pulling a lot of things you already have, and it's just going to feel really, really bad because you won't be seeing really anything new unless you get the drop you're going for. So always keep in mind the dangers of Gacha. The final thing, and then we will end the video, is daily quests. These are last, but they're certainly not least. If you are done with your main story and you are done with your events and you're not really like using your AP for anything super important, make sure that you're coming in here and you're doing your dailies. A great one to prioritize as a new player is the gold daily, and be sure to check for the half off tab. Today's a really bad example because it's Saturday, so on Saturdays all dailies are half off, so you pay half AP for doing them. Like normally, instead of 12, this hard mode would be 24. So always do them on their half off day. They cycle throughout the week. And as a new player, always make sure you're prioritizing gold, as it's very important. If gold is not up, I would probably make sure you're prioritizing the shards over anything else, because these books are very important for leveling your supporters. Leveling your supporters is important because they raise your HP and defense. Now, don't do like I did when I started Action Taimanin and focus on leveling your weapon first, because you'll be able to hit hard enough, but your character will die on hard mode. They will not be tanky enough. So, the benefit to leveling supporters is any character can wear any supporter, even if the supporter's effect does not synergize with that character. So if you're having trouble surviving, work up your supporters first. Trust me, that will be how you live. They will make you much more tanky. And then after your supporters are like strong enough that you're able to survive harder content like normal and hard mode, then you'll branch off and start upgrading your weapons with these shards that are these stones here, if you haven't already been using the facility like I mentioned earlier. So these dailies are valuable at first. Once you get into the game, you'll realize that you'll find more use in your bead daily, because beads are used to upgrade Magatama and reroll their affixes to make your character more efficient. But for the most part, gold will always be your priority. You will always need gold. Even at level 93 or whatever level I'm at, I still need gold. So dailies in that regard will always be important. And outside of doing your dailies, just make sure you're diligent, get all of your content done, get every gem you can possibly get within your own means, and make sure that every 6 hours you are doing your special mode after you unlock it, because that is an additional 3 gems, which will add up if done multiple times a day. And I think that'll cover it. Like, I know my vids run long, especially when they're new player guides like this, but I like to be thorough. I think at the end of the video, so pretty much any second now, you guys will see pop-ups to my other 2 new player guides. But I was looking over them and realized I hadn't really done a new player guide since I think November 16th. So I wanted to get something out here that just helps people get going in regards to starting Action Taimanin, because new people are coming in and they're still coming in, which is great. The game is growing. And I hope to see as more characters get added, the game gets even bigger, because I have definitely noticed the game has had a little more life to it since Kirara and Ingrid have come out. Probably more due to Ingrid, but I'll assume that my waifu Kirara is also the reason, because I adore her. So, I hope you boys and gals found it helpful or informative. If you're new to the game, welcome. And I hope you stay tuned to this channel, because there's literally daily videos, or at least videos most of the time for AT. So, you'll probably find what you're looking for if you stay tuned here. With all that being said, you boys and gals have a great weekend. Good luck in all facets of the game. Good luck in your gachas, especially because I hear a lot of people have been getting shafted lately. And with that, you guys take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow with another video. Bye-bye.